Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Saginaw Valley State University. We're so glad that you're joining us and celebrating with me. I am so happy to have been invited to serve as your mistress of ceremony for this very, very special occasion. Our theme this year, listen to this, working together, sharing the dream. Now, this annual Dr. King holiday affords all of us the opportunity to reflect upon the past while seeking hope, determination, and an opportunity to act upon the promise of the future. This evening, the committee has planned a very special program in honor of Dr. King's birthday. We know that you're going to truly enjoy the talents and commitment of our students. Our very, very, very distinguished speaker, Dr. Ruth Jones, who will make this celebration one that will truly be remembered. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Bethel AME Boy Scout Troop 291, who will present the colors. Please stand, as you already are, as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Recite it together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Bethel AME, for your presentation this evening. We will now have a very special musical selection from Reverend Dr. Lakrita Clark, who will perform a song titled A Hymn Medley, followed by the official welcome by Dr. Donald Bashan, who has served as president, distinguished president of Saginaw Valley State University for the past 6 years.
Good evening. Accompanying me this evening is the musician extraordinaire, Mrs. Damona Reed. I hope you'll enjoy. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak. Oh, hath loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. The truth is marching on. Glory, glory, His truth is marching on. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Will you all sing that one with me? Will you sing it with me? We shall overcome. Those are the words. We shall overcome. We shall
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Clark. I'm really pleased that I don't have to sing this evening after that. Well, good evening to all of you, and welcome to the 2020 Great Lakes Bay Regional Martin Luther King Celebration at Saginaw Valley State University. This evening's lecture concludes 3 days of events around the MLK celebration. Our celebration began on Monday with the Unity Walk and luncheon in downtown Saginaw. I'm pleased to report it was the coldest day of the year. Our special speaker, Dr. Ruth Jones from NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, arrived on our campus on Monday afternoon. Dr. Jones has really been quite busy. She's met with the women of Delta Sigma Theta Org, Inc., who are seated to my left. They're identifiable because they wear red. Very red. Dr. Jones also met with 70 students and their advisors from the Great Lakes Bay Regional Chief Science Officer Program. She visited with 7th and 8th graders at the Thompson Middle School. Last night she hosted 125 students and adults in this very auditorium to view the Hidden Figures movie. In addition, she distributed 100 boxes of popcorn for that event and hosted a 25-minute Q&A after an extremely long day of activities. Today, Dr. Jones met with 25 members of the Society of Women Engineers over lunch in our Maritime room. It certainly was a lively discussion. All of these events give Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy the acknowledgement that it deserves. His legacy is an inspiration to all people, united by a dream for equality, including the individuals that we are going to recognize in this auditorium tonight. We are pleased to honor this year's scholarship recipients, drum major recipients, and to welcome Dr. Jones to address all of us this evening. No celebration is planned alone, so I thank the Bay, Midland, and Saginaw Community Foundations for their support in planning this rather spectacular event. I also want to thank this event's sponsors, the Dow Chemical Company, Dr. Gene Goodnow, president of Delta College, and all of our friends at Delta, Warner Norcross and Judd Law Firm, Next Year Automotive, Shaheen Development Corporation, Bertrand Eye Care Association, and Hemlock Semiconductor and McDonald's Cadillac GMC. Other valued sponsors are listed on the back of your program. I want to personally thank all of you for attending, and I look forward to honoring Dr. King's legacy with all of you throughout the evening. Thank you.
Well, first I'd like to say thank you to Reverend Dr. Lakrita Clark for that beautiful selection, Keeping the Dream Alive. And thank you, Dr. Bashan, for your welcoming remarks and your ongoing commitment to keeping the dream alive. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Give him a round of applause, and also our singer this evening. At this time, I'd like to introduce Diane Fong, President and CEO of the Bay Area Community Foundation, Sharon Mortensen, President and CEO of the Midland Area Community Foundation, and Renee Johnston, President, CEO of the Saginaw Community Foundation, to present the scholarship recipients.
Good evening. I am so happy to be here tonight representing the Bay Area Community Foundation, along with my colleagues and friends Sharon Mortensen from Midland and Renee, who's standing in the dark over there. We'll see her in a moment, from the Saginaw Community Foundation. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Regional Scholarship was created in 2005 as a collaboration among the local community foundations, the local chapters of the NAACP, the area chambers and the area chambers of commerce. The goal was we wanted to elevate our local efforts into a broader regional context. In 2010, we partnered with Delta College and Saginaw Valley State University to become the event we are here tonight. We are very grateful for the continued support of Dow and Chemical Bank to help us underwrite the scholarships that will be awarded tonight. A selection committee, composed of representatives from Bay, Midland, and Saginaw, had a very hard task ahead of them. They had to review 81 scholarship applications and winnow that list down to 15 deserving students. We have 5 from each county being honored tonight. Courage, perseverance, unity, and sacrifice. These are the values that Dr. King espoused in pursuit of democracy for all. These values remain critically important, especially in today's world, and they are the values that all of our scholarship recipients have demonstrated. We don't have time to highlight what makes each one of these students wonderful, but I want to just give you a tiny sampling of what you're going to see here before you tonight. You're going to meet peer-to-peer mentors, NAACP STEAM Emerging Leader Award recipients, the International Leo of the Year from the Lions Club recipient, the Child Abuse and Neglect Volunteer of the Year, an ordained youth elder, and Michigan's youth representative at the Global Youth Convocation in South Africa. Indeed, the future is bright. Now, these kids would not be here today. I probably shouldn't call them kids, they're young adults, but they would not be here today without the parents, the families, mentors, and teachers that are out there in the audience. So we want to thank you. Following the awarding of the certificates, we are going to view a video that the scholarship recipients put together. It is an excerpt from Dr. Martin Luther King's 1957 speech called "Give Us the Ballot," which was delivered at Lincoln Memorial. So now, please join with us as we recognize our 2020 Dr. Martin Luther King Scholarship recipients individually. I do ask that you hold your applause until the end.
Alexis Braddock from Arthur Hill High School will attend Alabama State University with a major in nursing. Marissa Carroll from Bay City Western High School will attend Saginaw Valley State University with a major in communications. Gabrielle Falk from Saginaw Arts and Sciences Academy will attend Michigan State University with a major in pre-law. Zeke Lavelchek from Heritage High School plans to attend Carleton College, and his major is currently undecided. Luca Jolly from Midland High School plans to major in biology in college and is still making her final college selection. Katie Lazars from Freeland High School will attend Michigan State University with a major in business. Amaya Lott from Heritage High School will attend Delta College with a major in psychiatry. Zoe Marilot from Coleman High School will attend Ferris State University with a major in biology, and she was not able to be with us tonight. Ashlyn Nagel from Bay City Western High School will attend Central Michigan University with a major in biology. Isabel Nowak from Pinconning Area High School will attend Oakland University with a major in pre-law.
And Sophie Sadolski from Bay City Western High School will attend Adrian College with a major in biology. Lindsay Thompson from Herbert Henry Dow High School plans to major in business. She's still deciding on her college. Taryn Vielma from Midland High School will attend Michigan State University with a major in microbiology. Delaney Westlock from John Glenn High School will attend Hope College with a major in nursing. And Hannah Weirley from Midland High School will attend Michigan State University with a major in international relations. These are your 2020 scholarship recipients. Next, Dr. Eric Gardner from SVSU is going to join us to introduce tonight's video presentation.
Good evening. In May of 1957, 3 years after the nation-changing Supreme Court decision in Brown v. Board of Education, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. joined activists from A. Philip Randolph to Harry Belafonte and from Mahalia Jackson to Bayard Rustin on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial to press the federal government to live up to the calls of the Brown decision and of the broader movement for civil rights. Dr. King was the final speaker of the day, and his message to the 20,000 people gathered there and to the wider nation, a message that still rings true as we enter 2020, was clear, simple, and embodied in his title, Give Us the Ballot. Tonight, in a video produced by our friends and partners at Delta College, our MLK scholarship students share Dr. King's words.
Fellow Americans, 3 years ago, the Supreme Court of this nation rendered in simple, eloquent, and unequivocal language a decision in the case of Brown versus Board of Education, which will long be stenciled on the mental sheets of succeeding generations. For all men of goodwill, this decision came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of human captivity. It came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of disinherited people throughout the world who had dared only to dream of freedom.
Unfortunately, this noble and sublime decision has not gone without opposition. This opposition has often risen to ominous proportions. Many states have risen up in open defiance. The legislative halls of the South ring loud with such words as interposition and nullification. But even more, all types of conniving methods are still being used to prevent Negroes from becoming registered voters. The denial of the sacred right is a tragic betrayal of the highest mandates of our democratic tradition. And so our most urgent request to the President of the United States and every member of Congress is to give us the right to vote.
Give us the ballot, and we will no longer have to worry the federal government about our basic rights. Give us the ballot, and we will no longer plead to the federal government for the passage of the anti-lynching law. We will, by the power of our vote, write the laws on the statute books of the South and bring an end to the dastardly acts of hooded perpetrators of violence. Give us the ballot, and we will transform the salient misleads of the bloodthirsty mobs into the calculated good deeds of orderly citizens. Give us the ballot, and we will fill our legislative halls with men of goodwill.
Give us the ballot, and we will place judges on the benches of the South who will do justly and love mercy. Give us the ballot, and we will quietly and non-violently, without rancor or bitterness, implement the Supreme Court's decision of May 17, 1954. In this juncture of our nation's history, there's an urgent need for dedicated and courageous leadership. If we are to solve the problems ahead and make racial justice a reality, this leadership must be fourfold.
First, there is need for strong, aggressive leadership from the federal government. We so often look to Washington in vain for this concern. The executive branch of the government is all too silent and apathetic. In the midst of the desperate need for civil rights legislation, the legislative branch of the government is all too stagnant and hypocritical.
We come humbly to say to the men in the forefront of our government that the civil rights issue is not an ephemeral, evanescent domestic issue that can be kicked about by reactionary guardians of the status quo. It is rather an eternal moral issue which may well determine the destiny of our nation.
A second area in which there is need for strong leadership is from the white northern liberals. There is a dire need today for liberalism, which is truly liberal. What we are witnessing today in so many northern communities is a sort of quasi-liberalism, which is based on the principle of looking sympathetically at all sides. It is a liberalism that is so bent on seeing all sides that it fails to become committed to either side. It is a liberalism that is so objectively analytical that it is not subjectively committed. It is a liberalism which is neither hot or cold, but lukewarm. We call for a liberalism from the North which will be thoroughly committed to the ideal of racial justice and would not be deterred by propaganda and subtle words of those who say, slow up a while, you are pushing too fast. A third source that we must look to for strong leadership is from the moderates of the white South. God grant that the white moderates of the South will rise up courageously, without fear, and take up the leadership in this tense period of transition. I cannot close without stressing the urgent need for strong, courageous, and intelligent leadership from the Negro community. We must realize that we are grappling with the most weighty social problem of this nation. We must work passionately and unrelentingly for the goal of freedom, but we must be sure that our hands are clean in the struggle. We must never become bitter.
I know how we feel sometimes. There is danger that those of us who have been forced so long to stand amid the tragic midnight of oppression, those of us who have been trampled over, those of us who have been kicked about, there is danger that we will become bitter. But if we will become bitter and indulge in hate campaigns, the new order which is emerging will be nothing but a duplication of the old order.
We must meet hate with love. We must meet physical force with soul force. We must follow nonviolence and love. No, I'm not talking about a sentimental, shallow kind of love. I'm talking about a type of love which will cause you to love the person who does the evil deed while hating the deed that the person does. We've got to love. We have won marvelous victories. Through the work of the NAACP, we have been able to do some of the most amazing things of this generation.
But we must not, however, remain satisfied with a court victory. We must act in such a way as to make possible a coming together of white people and colored people on the basis of a real harmony of interest and understanding. We must seek an integration based on mutual respect.
I conclude by saying that each of us must keep faith in the future. Let us not despair. Let us realize that as we struggle for justice and freedom, we have cosmic companionship. There is something in our faith that says to us, never despair, never give up, never feel that the cause of righteousness and justice is doomed. There is something in this universe which justifies Carlyle in saying, no lie can live forever. There is something in this universe which justifies William Cullen Bryant in saying, truth crushed to earth will rise again.
Go out with that faith today. Go back to your homes in the Southland with that faith today. Go back to Philadelphia, to New York, to Detroit and Chicago with that faith today that the universe is on our side in the struggle. Stand up for justice. Sometimes it gets hard, but it always is difficult to get out of Egypt, for the Red Sea always stands before you with discouraging dimensions. And even after you've crossed the Red Sea, you have to move through a wilderness of prodigious hilltops of evil and gigantic mountains of opposition. But I say to you, keep moving. Let nothing slow you up. Move on with dignity and honor and respectability.
I realize that it'll cause restless nights sometime. It might cause losing a job. It'll cause suffering and sacrifice. It might even cause physical death for some. But if physical death is the price that some must pay to free their children from a permanent life of psychological death, then nothing can be more Christian. Keep going today. Keep moving amid every obstacle. Keep moving amid every mountain of opposition.
If you do that with dignity, when the history books are written in the future, the historians will have to look back and say, there lived a great people, a people who injected new meaning into the veins of civilization, a people who stood up with dignity and honor and saved Western civilization in her darkest hour, a people who gave new integrity and a new dimension of love to our civilization. When that happens, the morning stars will sing together and the sons of God will shout for joy.
We could bring our scholarship winners out again. Nothing will slow them up. This is what Dr. King meant when he said soul force.
Well, I have to say, if those are our future leaders of tomorrow, we are in pretty good hands. Another round of applause for those recipients. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Jean Goodnow. She is president of Delta College, and Dr. Reva Curry, vice president of Instruction Learning Services at Delta College, to present the Martin Luther King Jr. Drum Major Award. Welcome them to the stage, please.
Good evening. It is indeed my pleasure and my honor to present the 6th Annual Drum Major Awards. From Bay County, only 11% of young adults from low-income families earn a college degree by age 24, compared with 58% from high-income families. Carolyn Weirda made it a life focus to right this injustice. She spent her entire career in the educational system and dedicated hours, weeks, months, and years to ensuring that all students, regardless of race or financial background, have access to post-secondary education. Carolyn advocated for the creation of the Great Lakes Bay College and Resource Center, which breaks down barriers related to attitudes and promotes access to higher education. More than 1,000 first-generation students have received financial support for their education, and many have gone on to earn graduate degrees and beyond. In recognition of her impact on students, the Bay City Community Foundation honored her by creating the Carolyn Weirda Bay Commitment Fund and Endowment. This fund supports the dreams of first-generation students of achieving a higher education. In recognition of her outstanding achievements, the MLK Drum Major Award for Bay County goes to Carolyn Weirda. From Midland County, David Stickles has been involved in STEM outreach activities in Bay, Midland, and Saginaw counties for decades, including participating in hands-on activities such as the after-school presentations, summer campus, Earth Day, Kids Day, and River Days. He believes in students engaging in hands-on activities in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics as a pathway to education and career success. David is also an advocate for wellness, having served almost 20 years in the Michigan chapter of the Huntington's Disease Society of America. He is a regular volunteer for the Midland Special Olympics. For over 4 decades, he has volunteered for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Midland and was assigned to 9 little brothers over that time. David believes in creating and sustaining positive relationships with all youth to encourage them to give back to others and to pursue their education. In recognition of his outstanding achievements, the MLK Drum Major Award for Midland County goes to David Stickles. From Saginaw County, Charles McNair was a great man, beloved principal, mentor, community pillar, and friend to all. He definitely left his mark on the world when he passed away on December 4th, 2019. He worked in the Saginaw Public Schools for over 53 years, serving as a teacher, counselor, principal, and father figure to many. His first assignment was principal at Potter Elementary School. He continued to work at other schools, including Saginaw High School, Morley Elementary, Houghton Elementary, and Weber Middle School. He founded the Booker T. Washington Charles McNair Scholarship Foundation in 2011, which has awarded deserving students. He was also a member of many community organizations that impacted the entire region. In recognition of his outstanding achievements, the MLK Drum Major Award for Saginaw County goes to Charles McNair. Accepting the award on his behalf is Bonnie Woods. Let's give these three wonderful people another round of applause for these awards. Thank you.
Congratulations to our three Martin Luther King Jr. Drum Major recipients for your hard work and dedication. Another round of applause. That was amazing. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Rajani. Dr. Rajani, listen to this, is an associate professor and the first female department chair in the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department here at SVSU. In addition to that, Dr. Rajani contributes to numerous professional societies and student activities in Northeast Michigan, as well as other community engagements. We also would like to welcome and introduce this evening's moderator, Mr. Clint Bryant. Saginaw Councilman Clint Bryant is a lifelong resident of the city of Saginaw. Councilman Bryant has been an advocate for students and working families for over a decade. Councilman Bryant credits his love of service and activism to his mama. He said that she taught him the importance of hard work and helping those in need. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome SVSU's own Dr. Rajani to introduce our speaker.
Good evening, Cardinals, staff, faculty, alumni, board members, community members, administrators, and the beloved President Bashant and Provost Huntley. As an educator here at SVSU, we promote diverse, inclusive, and an engaging environment to our students here. Our guest, Dr. Ruth Jones, is a motivational speaker who has walked the path that many of us still fear and has received many awards and recognition. To some of the things that I would like to say is being the first woman to earn a bachelor's degree in physics from University of Arkansas. And second, African American women who earned the doctoral degree in physics in the state of Alabama. And currently, Dr. Jones is the branch chief in Industrial Safety Branch of the NASA Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama. Dr. Jones, I had an earlier conversation with her at the luncheon, and Dr. Jones, in her talk, there's one message that we got loud and clear is that she's a big believer and advocate for giving back to your community as role models. And in same sorts, she has also written a book. She had co-authored an e-book on Be That Engineer. And that book has a greatest review, and one of the person even said that it is the lifesaver, that Anytime they felt down, they would just take that book and read one page from it, and that would be it. They'd be inspired to go more and do more. So with that said, I also have to say that she's here to inspire us today and to be confident, self-confident, I would say, stick out, and to never give up. Without any further delay, I would like to welcome NASA's modern figure, Dr. Ruth Jones. Thank you.
The best advice I received was to discover my passion. I think the main reason I've succeeded in a STEM field, despite the various setbacks or obstacles along the way, is that I love what I do. My passion has been a powerful motivator to me. Am I supposed to say something? I can't see. Can y'all dim the lights? I like to look at the audience. But I like to say I'm glad to be here.
All right.
Thank you all for inviting me. And hopefully I can say some good words of encouragement, keep you guys engaged.
Well, good evening, everyone. What a fantastic, the delay was not on me. I don't want anyone to think that was the case. But it is such an honor to be here. Thank you to Dr. Bashan and Dr. Thorns for the opportunity to sit here and talk this evening with Dr. Ruth Jones. What an amazing, let's just get one more round of applause. So, one of the first questions I have for you, coming from the South, have you adjusted to our Michigan weather here?
Of course, I adjusted. I brought the sun with me, so it won't be as cold. You know, it's a difference between cold and sunny and cold and raining. So I wanted to make sure I brought the sun with me so I could feel like I'm at home.
Very good, very good. I just want to, I'm from the church. So if the folks in the audience could just look to their neighbor and say, for such a time as this. Amen. When I was looking up some of the information on you, Dr. Jones, that's what I could think about was Esther and that quote in the scripture where it said, for such a time as this, and you are such an inspirational legend for us, and you serve as such a outstanding figure for so many of our students, really every age demographic, but I think of a lot of our students who are looking to go in that field. So let's just dive right in.
Let's do it.
Yes. One of the questions I have is, did you have a clear-cut path? I know being here at the university, when I was a college student, I switched my major a number of times, as many of us do, but to get to where you are, did you have a clear-cut path, or were there a couple side steps? Were there, what was your journey like?
Well, I thought it was a clear-cut path, but, things happen. Mm-hmm. So I had to adjust my plans. So originally, when I was in high school, I did not want to go to college. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go to the military because my dad was in the military, and he said if he could do it all over again, he would go to the Air Force. Okay. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the Air Force. Oh, that's awesome. But being my parents' only child, I had a praying mother. She never said, don't go to the military. Mm-hmm. But I think she burned a hole in the carpet praying that I would not go. And within, with divine intervention, I could not go to the military. So coming from a small city, West Helena, Arkansas, about 12,000 people, we got one McDonald's, one Wendy's, one KFC, and we got a mall. It's called Walmart.
Okay.
So the opportunities were very limited there.
Yes.
So I knew I had to leave West Helena. Mm-hmm. So I knew then that I need to get an education. So that's when I attended the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Mm. Initially, I was an accounting major because I've always had a passion for numbers and science. But, going to a HBCU, I wanted to enjoy the college life. I did want to party. I'm not going to lie. So students, enjoy your college life. But make sure that you get your grades. And I did graduate with honors. So once I took those accounting classes, the highest level of mathematics that I needed was college algebra. Okay. And my professor, Dr. Mia, he saw my mathematical skills because in high school I took up the calculus. So I was just breezing through that class. I was like, this is so easy. So after he kept trying to persuade me to change my major, and I was like, I'm not trying to change my major. Physics, that's more studying, less partying. So I was like, I'm just going to stick with accounting. So I changed my major my junior year from accounting to physics.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And once I changed my major to physics, then I started doing research. Okay, what does a physicist do? And the first thing that popped up was NASA. And from there, I just pursued, that was my goal, was to work for NASA. So I started seeking internships and co-ops, and I did both internship. My first internship was at Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland.
Okay.
And then I did another internship at Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville. And then once I enrolled in graduate school, I did a graduate co-op for 5 years from my master's to PhD. And once I graduated with my PhD, that's when NASA hired me on full-time.
Wow, that's amazing. And how many years has it been?
Since I've been working with NASA,
Yes.
25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Round of applause. That's outstanding.
Well, thank you.
I just want to take us, one of the things, I don't know, we had a chance to speak a little bit about it earlier, but with our students, one of the things, for instance, Saginaw Public Schools, 9 out of 10 of our students live in poverty, and there's a lot of barriers. What would you say to them? What would you say to them? Because I think that we're all part of Dr. King's dream. Everybody in this auditorium and us on stage here, we all fit into a part of that dream. So what would you say to some of our students who are interested in the STEM field, and how could we encourage them? How do we, bolster that here in the region?
I think, for one, the community has to be involved.
Yes.
And we have to give back. And I'm not saying give money. Money is good, don't get me wrong, but time is more valuable than money. And these kids live in poverty areas, and they don't have the avenue to get to the activities. So I would suggest that the community take the activities to the schools, and therefore you can reach every student. And I know sometimes it's hard because we're all busy, but we have to get back, because that is our generation, that is our future. And if we don't invest in those students, who's going to invest in them? And if we don't invest in them, guess what? They're going to be into crime, they're going to end up dead. So it's best to be proactive and invest in them and give them a better education, and then just show them that, hey, I grew up in the same city, or I'm a part of this city. This is what I do, because they need to see more of us that's doing something positive. Because when you're living in areas like that, you see drug dealers, and your goal is, I want to be a drug dealer like my uncle or like my dad. And it's very sad, but that's what they see. And then also media plays a very important part in it, because all they see is professional athletes. And then they also see music entertainers. But those, to me, those are not any, role models. Pretty much those are goal models. Because a role model to me is somebody you can go out and talk to. A goal model is something that I want to be like, but you can't touch them. You can't talk to them. So we have to learn how to just be more involved in the community. Because I know in Arkansas, and it may be here as well, I know when the students take the test, standardized test in the 3rd grade, how many students fail that test, that's how they determine how many prisons they're going to build. So they're making a place for our students that's going to do bad, but we need to intervene to keep the numbers down so they can put more money into the education. And the society is so, kind of jacked up that we put more money, invest into them going into crime, and we have a place for them where we can have more programs like STEM or educational programs where we can invest in them so they can go further in life and be more productive and law-abiding citizens.
That's one of our mottos with the city of Saginaw, is we're building opportunity. And I want that not only to be a catchy phrase, but I want us to actually continue doing that work for our students, for our small businesses, Black and minority-owned businesses. That's what we have absolutely got to do. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit also tonight about, I think of myself, and I look at you and I'm like, wow, man, this is really possible.
You can do it.
I don't know about that. Math was definitely never a strong suit of mine.
You can do anything.
All right.
Put your mind to it.
All right, I'm gonna call you.
Call me.
But one of the things, I had a conversation with one of my good friends out in the hallway before we got started, and you going before, you are a trailblazer. And I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about how does it feel when you walk into some rooms, being a doctor, being a physicist, working at NASA, we could go on, but how does it feel to walk in some of these rooms and you're the only person that looks like you. So if you could give a word of encouragement to some of our folks here in the audience tonight that may be stepping out on a leap of faith, they're challenging themselves, and they're not sure what resistance they might be met with. It seems like in the political climate that we have here today, in 2020, it seems like we've almost gone back 100 years. So we're going to again be faced with some of the things that our ancestors were faced with. So I just wanted to know if you could offer a word of encouragement to some of our folks that are going to be stepping out on that leap of faith, when they enter a room and don't see someone like them or see themselves represented.
I think for number one, in order to do that, you have to have self-confidence. You have to believe in yourself. And if you have that, that can't really touch you. They can, but you don't let it show. You go to your room and cry about it, but when you step out in the room, you have confidence, you look them in the eye, and as long as you know your subject matter, I tell everybody, I don't care if you're a basket weaver, be the best basket weaver you are.
Yes.
If you're going to be a physicist, be the best physicist, but you have to know your subject matter. So it's very important when you go through your education that you get it all. And it's up to you, because some people say, well, you went to HBCU, you didn't learn as much. Even if I went to a PWI, which is primarily white institution, I would still gain, it's on me to get that information. So it's not left up to professors to give it to me. They can give me so much, but I have to do the rest.
Yes.
So we have to make sure that you get that education, because I tell everybody, education is the key to success. Education is like Coca-Cola. It is the real thing. And education is like General Electric. It will light your path. And education is like Scotch tape. You can't see it, but you know it's there.
Very good, very good.
But most importantly, though, education is like American Express. You can never leave home without it. So get your education.
Yes, yes. And pursuing excellence, I know that's something that is a core value here at the university and within our community. So as we're striving to excellence, I'm just curious. And Saginaw Valley will have a presence in downtown Saginaw. Could we please get a round of applause for that? Amen, amen. We are making headway in downtown, and again, continuing to build, building that opportunity. So I'm curious as to who are some of the inspirational figures. I know tonight is about Dr. King and his amazing legacy. Who are some other influential leaders that you have looked up to throughout your career?
Okay. Mae Jemison is one,
Okay.
The first American black astronaut. My own role model, Felicia Buchanan Jones. She was one of my neighbors, and she excelled. Her first internship was at the White House, and I was just like, wow, somebody from West Holland working in the White House? I made it to D.C. I didn't make it to the White House, but I did make it to NASA, so we kind of had some similarities. And, of course, my professors. So I look more so at people that I can actually touch and talk to. They really inspire me, because I can go and talk to them and ask them about their journeys. Dr. King and Malcolm X and figures like that are good as well, but you have to read about their history. I like to talk to people and actually see how did they overcome those obstacles. So I have more like Dr. Donald Frazier.
Okay.
He's a black chemist at NASA. He's retired now, but I still keep in contact with him as well. So he was very instrumental in my life as well.
Awesome. Now, how do we get your book? I heard about a book.
Yeah, it's just a book.
Everything is on Amazon anymore. Is it on Amazon?
Yeah,
how do we get that?
I don't really know if it may be on Amazon.
Okay.
I'm not really for certain. SWE, Society of Women Engineers, had called and asked if I would contribute to the book. And I did, and it was accepted. And I was, still to this day, I'm like, how did they get my name? Like, where did they, but I was very active in SWE at that time, so that may be it. I don't know, but I was very, I was honored to be a part of that book. And then to hear that it's helped someone. I'm all about trying to motivate and inspire people.
I would love to add you when we have Black History Month next month. I know that your story is going to be one that I continue to share in classrooms throughout the county. So I'm just so excited. I got another question for you. So we're talking a lot about math, talking a lot about figures and different things like that. But what do you do when you have a rough day or things don't go the way that you planned? Do you turn up the stereo? Do you go home and watch a movie? I think everyone kind of has their own thing that they do. So if you were to go home and turn on the stereo, who are some of the folks that you would listen to?
All right. Don't judge me, people. We're going to start with the good Ruth first. We're going to start with the gospel.
Okay, amen.
Leandra Johnson, I like her.
Yes.
And, let's go over to the bad side.
Okay, all right, and I'm great.
I like Lil Boosie. I like Drake, I like Beyonce, Summer Walker. Mm-hmm. So, I like a variety of music.
All right, I like that.
Yeah. You like to say you can take the country out the girl, but you can't take the girl out the country. So it's still in me.
What are we bumping?
I'm a little hood, a little gangster too, but I'm professional. So, yeah.
So, during your career, 25 years in any position or with any organization is an extremely long time. I have the opportunity to represent employees in our Great Lakes Bay region and beyond, and it's seldom that you see someone stay. So during that time, what was one of the most challenging experiences that you had while working at NASA?
Most challenging, I would say just having to prove myself all the time.
Okay.
Having a PhD from a HBCU, a lot of the scientists and engineers at NASA thought that my PhD was not worthy or equal to theirs, coming from a predominantly white institution. And I told them, we do the same work. But my supervisor, which I'll never forget, he was like, well, I understand how you get a PhD in physics and all you guys did was study, your subject was physics. And I'm like, duh, getting a PhD in physics, what else am I gonna study? And he was like, well, you should have taken more math classes. That's what we did. And I'm like, but in order to do the physics, you got to know how to do the math. So I was just like, well, his word really, it doesn't mean anything to me. But he, come to find out, he had a PhD in physics as well. So I think he was thinking now the stuff that he was talking, I would actually understand it. So now he had to watch what he says because I knew the language as well. And so I tell anybody, HBCU to me, I'm an acronym queen, so I can change anything into an acronym. So to me, HBCU stands to me is helping blacks compete universally. And I say that because I went to 2 HBCUs. I went to the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and then I also went to Alabama A&M University. And because of those 2 institutions, it's because of who I am today and where I am today. So they got me to NASA. But my hard work that made me stay at NASA.
Yes. And you were the second to get a PhD in the state of Arkansas. Alabama. Second in the state of Alabama to get a PhD. That is phenomenal.
Yes. And it's so ironic because when I first entered graduate school at Alabama A&M University, Dr. Sheila Nash Stevenson, she was the first African-American female to get a PhD in physics. So when she was graduating, I was coming in, not knowing this at the time. But as I talked to her, and she's a Delta also, I don't mean to brag, but she's a Delta.
We have our Deltas here tonight.
Yeah, I got my sisters over there. That's good. Good support.
That was something that was an ongoing challenge. But what were some of the more rewarding times when you were like, man, yes, you did this? Yes. I don't know if you talk to yourself. I sometimes
do. I do. I talk to myself all the time. I just don't answer myself. I may just talk it out loud, but I don't answer myself. But I guess most rewarding would be, having this platform in order to share my story. To me, that's rewarding to me. I mean, accolades are good. I'm glad I have my PhD, but it's important to me. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the most important. I just like going back, sharing my story, and just inspiring others. And I give back to my community. So I'm very proud of the scholarship that I've started at my church.
Amazing. For
students that are in my church. And it doesn't matter what school they go to. It doesn't matter what their major is. They just have to be active in the church.
Wow.
And in order to get my money, you got to be active. I just can't give it to you just a bench member. You got to be active. And you have to write a 500 word essay. And basically, essay is something on spiritual, how has church help you, how has Sunday school help you, and going to help you in your life or something like that. So, and it's kind of crazy because I have a small church. Of course, I'm from a small town. The church probably has about 500 people, maybe. And we may have roughly, on an average, 7 high school graduates.
Wow.
But out of that 7, you may only have about 2 that actually apply for the scholarship. And that's kind of disheartening.
Wow.
Because they're only competing within themselves. And this is like $1,000. Sometimes I give $2,000. Just
Okay.
depends on, how many people it is.
Wow.
But it's kind of disheartening that they don't apply themselves just to get that money.
Yeah. What are some of the trends you're seeing throughout your career? I can imagine you've seen a lot.
Yes.
But what are some of the trends that you're seeing in the STEM field? Do we have enough folks who are entering this? Do we need more? What is your projection for things? What is your experience telling you?
For STEM, I think we need more people in STEM. That's black, white, no matter what color or ethnicity you are, we need more people because I looked at statistics like 2.4 million STEM jobs that go unfilled every year. Wow. That's a lot of jobs.
Wow.
And we have all these smartphones, smart cars, smart TVs, but we don't have enough smart people to fill the jobs. So
yes, say it again.
We need to get on our jobs and make sure that we motivate the younger generation to get into these fields so we can fill these jobs. Because if we don't fill them, guess what? They're going to leave the U.S. and they're going to go over to another country. So we need to make sure, that's why I said the community has to be involved. The churches, the sororities, fraternities, schools, just, I don't know, housewives. We got to get, you got to do more. So we got to just get involved into these schools and just, because if they don't see us, they won't know that they can do this. So they have to make sure in order to be you, they got to see you. Thanks, Daryl. I got that from Daryl yesterday.
Now, your career has taken you a lot of places. What are some of the most interesting places that you have been? I hope Saginaw scores high.
Yeah, Saginaw's there. Hey, I must say that you guys have laid out the red carpet. I feel like Barack Obama up in here. I mean, like, wow. You guys have laid it out. Dr. Thorns has gone all out the way. I'm like getting picked up. She got my Saras picking me up on time. I'm like, okay. Everybody just boom, boom. Just laid out. So you guys have shown some southern, northern hospitality. So I thank each of you for doing that. But some of the places that I've been, I mean, I've been to Rome, I've been to France, the Netherlands. All of this is work now. This is government paid for. And then I've been to like 35 of the United States.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what I love about my job, travel for free.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And spreading.
And
spreading the good word.
And spreading the good word, of course.
And possibility.
Doing good work.
Yes, getting in with all ages. What's on the horizon for you? You've accomplished so much.
Yes.
You're a doctor, author, 25 years at NASA. What is on your horizon?
Wow, you sound like Mr. Odell over there.
Oh, no. And I have to tell you, Dr. Thorns, Dr. Odell Thorns is one of my best friends. And we will sit down, and he said when him and the other Dr. Thorns were having a conversation, they said, Clint will talk all night. So we need to make sure that we get him.
No, I say that because I met Mr. Odell. Both of us were inducted to the Hall of Fame at our alma mater, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff.
Yes, good.
And when I was being inducted, everybody was like in the class of 62, 65, 69. And I was the class of 94, so Mr. Odell was like, you're too young to be in the Hall of Fame. What are you going to do now for the rest of your life? I said, I don't know, Mr. Odell. I guess continue to try to do great things. I don't know. So by you asking that question, I don't know. I've thought about it. I don't know. I guess I'm just going to continue to spread my word and just be humble and just share my story. Yeah, and just do great things. Wherever God leads me, that's what I'll do.
God will guide and He will provide.
That's
that
right.
is for sure.
That's right.
I want to talk about one of the quotes. Our first African American mayor for the city of Saginaw was Henry G. Marsh, and one of his favorite quotes was the last few lines of the Invictus, and it says, "It doesn't matter how." I'm going to paraphrase. It matters not how straight the gate or how charged the scroll of punishment. I am the master of my fate, and I am the captain of my soul.
Yep.
So, moving on, what are some of the steps that our region, you think, might need to take? Of course, we're going to be getting involved in the classrooms and donating funds and, of course, our time. But what are some of those other things? Let's just get a little bit deeper into that, if we could.
Deeper. I think that, since it's Martin Luther King and he had a dream, I think each of you need to have a dream.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm an acronym queen, and just sitting here, I'm thinking dream. Maybe if we discover our passion, you know, whatever you like to do, just dig deep into that and just go further with it. And then the R, remove doubt. You know, sometimes we have doubt, I won't be able to do this because my background is this or my parents are this. So we have to remove our own doubt, and then we have to remove doubt from other people, because some people, you're going to have the haters out there. So they're going to be like, you can't do that. So you have to remove that doubt and prove to them that you can do it. And then we have to exceed obstacles. We're always going to face some type of obstacles. I don't care what your gender is, your race, you're going to face some type of obstacle. Somebody's going to be there. So you have to exceed those obstacles. And then the A, you have to adjust your attitude. You know, NASA has a motto, your attitude determines your altitude. And you could be the best at whatever you are, but if you have a bad attitude, you're not going anywhere.
Wow.
So your attitude is going to determine your altitude. And then M, just make a difference. I mean, we have to learn how to do things that's going to make a difference in the world and not for self-gratification. And if you can do that, then I think the world will be a happier place. And I think if we all have a dream and share our dream, we can leave a legacy.
Yes. Dr. King, in one of his speeches, talked about all labor has dignity that uplifts humanity. It should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. And one of the conversations that I had with some of our students this summer was the fact that things are not going to just be given to you.
That is true.
It takes hard work. Every single day, as soon as your feet hit the floor, you better pray.
Yep.
And ask God for guidance, ask Him for forgiveness if you've done something you shouldn't have done. But can we talk a little bit about that hard work and that determination, that fire in the belly to just continue and not to be satisfied?
Oh, yeah, you have to be hungry for it. And I think if you're hungry for it, you're going to work harder for it. And the more you work for something, the better you appreciate it. When things are given to you, it's just like, you don't worry about it. I mean, it's like kids today. I remember when I was growing up, you know, you only got gifts on certain days, your birthdays, maybe Christmas. Nowadays, kids say, I want the new AirPod Pros. You know, you go out and get them. The next thing you know, they lost them. You go buy them an iPad, they break it. They don't appreciate it because they didn't work for it. They didn't work hard for it. We've gotten so, you know, I guess not rich, but we are a lot better off than our ancestors. So we try to give our kids what we didn't have, and they don't really appreciate it. Not all kids. Some kids do appreciate it, but some kids, it's just an iPad. They go out and get another one, get the latest iPhone. So you have to learn how to work hard for things because, you know, we can dream all day, but dreams do not become a reality just out the blue. It takes hard work. It takes sweat. It takes determination for your dreams to come true.
And a lot of it starts at home. I've worked in public education for 10 years, and we have our students for a limited amount of time. So what are some words for our parents? We have to tell them that you are part of this solution. You are part of the success of our students. So what is a word of encouragement for our parents? Because sometimes, you know, math has changed a little bit.
Oh, yeah, math has changed a lot.
Even from the time, my grandmother is raising 3 of her grandchildren.
Yeah.
So, and that is not different than many other people in our community. So what's a word for that grandparent, that parent who's trying to, you know, help their students succeed?
I think that the schools need to have a workshop for the parents to help them understand this quote-unquote new math, this critical thinking math is basically what they call it. Because, you know, we were growing up, you know, they were still caring and borrowing. They don't do that anymore now.
No.
You know, if you have like 32 minus 9, they tell you, well, take the 30, subtract the 9 from the 30, then you add the 2 to it. It's just so confusing. Parents look like, what? They don't understand that. So, and then when the kids go home and trying to explain to the parents are getting frustrated. They're saying, no, that's not how you do it, but Miss Williams said I have to do it this way. And it's just a big, you know, so we have to make sure that the parents understand the changes that are made within the schools. And then once the parents understand that, they have to reinforce that in the homes. A lot of times we put a lot of expectations on the teachers, but the parents or the guardians, whatever you are to that child, you have a responsibility as well to make sure that they get their work done.
Wow. That's so true. I just want to thank you for this opportunity to sit with a living legend. And I cannot wait to share your message, somebody that I spoke with, somebody that I was able to touch. So you have definitely touched me, and I know you've touched our audience tonight. Can we just get a round of applause one more time for Dr. Ruth D. Jones.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We
so
are
much.
all set. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Dr. Jones. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. I think you've given us all a call to action to really empower us and to follow our dreams, and we're all going to do that. Thank you so much. You have been such an inspiration. Another round of applause, please. At this time, I'd like to welcome Indigo Dudley, a current SVSU student who is majoring in music. She will be performing a song titled Steal Away.
Is this thing on? Hello. Hi. So thank you for letting me sing here today, Dr. Thorns. I really appreciate it. And then playing with me today is Andrew Ratejak, and he is also a part of the SVSU music department.
Good evening. You know, if Dr. King was sitting right here next to our president, I think he would lean over and he would tell our president what a great program you put on and the committee here at Saginaw Valley State University. Wouldn't you agree with me? What a wonderful program. Now, in order to put on a great program like this, you have to have a great committee. And when I think about Dr. King, and when I think about what he did, he surrounded himself with a dream team. And that's exactly what we have put together, the Martin Luther King Great Lakes Bay Regional Committee. It's a dream team, and it's made up of 3 amazing CEO of the Bay Community Foundation, Diane Fung. Diane, would you please stand? Sharon Morrison from Midland, Renee Johnson from Saginaw. And if I could have the house lights, please. I'd like for the rest of the committee members to stand, because we plan, we work hard all year to put together our program, and it's because of them. And let's keep the lights up, please. And the video, that would not be possible without the Delta College Broadcasting System. Gene, we thank you so much, and your team. Please stand. Please stand. The video is just amazing. And we do this because you deserve nothing but the best. You deserve nothing but the best Martin Luther King celebration. Now, I got to give another shout out, and I know that I'll pay for this later, but that's okay. Well, when Don Bashan hired me, I don't think he realized that he hired another Thorns. And so when we're planning and we're talking at home about what speakers we can bring, and I love to have Condoleezza Rice here, but that's just way out of our budget. But I was talking because Odell was honored at his alma mater in October, and he came back home and he said, I want you to take this book to work and share this with Don. You need to get Dr. Ruth Jones here at Saginaw Valley State University. And being an obedient wife that I am, I immediately contacted the office, the alumni office, Andy. They hesitated about giving me her information, but they gave it to me, and I called her. I tell you, she is such a she has a sweet spirit. She's a humble woman, a woman that we can all be proud of, and she said yes. And I mean everything, and I have ran her all over this region because I wanted students to see her and to hear her and talk to her. If you could have been in that room yesterday with those chief science officers where she had them in the palm of their hand, every last one of them want to do an intern at NASA. So Dr. Jones, we thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And Coletta, Team 5, you guys always support us. And let's put our sponsors, because this is the other piece. It takes money. It takes, and many of you heard me on TV5 saying, if you haven't, call me to be a sponsor. It's not too late. And I gave them my telephone number, but these are all of the sponsors. And if you're in the house, please stand. If you're not and you know them, give them a nice round of applause. I mean, we are right on schedule. The last thing that I think I need to bring up that's very important, and I think if Dr. King was here, he would encourage us to complete the census. And when you walk out this evening, you will receive a flyer. We count because community matters. Now, all 3 regions have come together, and they're working, and we do not want to leave anyone out. So everyone deserves the best that our community has to offer. So the census kickoff is coming. It's April 1st, 2020. And if you need any additional information, you can see the Saginaw Community Foundation. If you want them to come and speak to your organization, the Bay and the Midland also, they're more than happy to do that. We count because community matters. And we want to make sure that we get the dollars that we need so that we can put it into our schools and our programs in our region. Now, having said all that, as we close, we will have a nice reception out front. We hope that you will join us. And I do believe that our next MLK celebration that is already scheduled, we do not have a speaker. If you have any suggestions or ideas, that's January 20th, 2021. Working together, sharing the dream. That's what we're doing here in the Great Lakes Bay region. Oh, I knew I would forget something. Deltas, please stand. I know our president gave you a shout out, but I thank you for your support. And Dr. Clark, oh my goodness, thank you so much for opening up this event. What a beautiful, beautiful hymn. And Damona, yes, you are the best. Thank you very much. And then our very own student, the president of our unity. Thank you. Indigo is a product of Saginaw and graduated from Heritage. So she's doing amazing things here on our campus, and we appreciate that. Once again, Mr. President, thank you so much for your encouraging us to continue to do the work that we do to promote diversity, inclusion, and equity here at Saginaw Valley State University, as well as our region. Good night, and thank you so much.